How's everyone's day? I'm so sorry, Johan. Hello, everyone. Come sit down, enjoy your cup of Joe or tea, or whatever your drink you may have, and let's begin discussing things. Whatever things may be, of course. I'm SwaggBae, a guy who loves talking about movies, animation, and video games. Well, not so much on the latter there, but it's mainly the first two that I really adore. Now, over the weekend, I saw a little movie called One Battle After Another, and I'm sure some of you who are still watching television probably know what I'm talking about right now. But I'll be explaining in a little bit for those who are completely out of the loop of what it is. But when I saw the trailer on my YouTube feed many months ago, I thought there was no doubt in my mind that this would be a trip. And I'm going to be completely honest, it was a trip, no doubt. I'm going to do the best I can to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but there may be some times where I'm going to actually say stuff that actually is technically spoilers, so this is just a little bit of your warning, I guess. So, yeah. Also, I'm sorry I had to postpone the video to today, which being Friday, the day that I'm releasing this video, even though I'm recording this right now on Wednesday. It's been more of a recurring theme with work and whatnot. Plus, with fall weather not here yet, and with it being almost 85 degrees as of recording this, I've been hauling a lot of ice during shifts. So I really appreciate your patience in me trying to get videos like this out. Hopefully I'll have a little more time for my brain so I can be able to make these videos here in the fall. But we'll see what happens. Maybe I may make more videos than I thought, but I also been working on my short film, so there's that. It's the latest movie from director Paul Thomas Anderson of Licorice Pizza, Boogie Nights, There'll Be Blood, Punch Drunk Love, and Phantom Thread fame. The movie follows Bob Ferguson, who is part of a rebellious group of vigilantes called the French 75. Now, they are responsible in hijacking the atmosphere, which can be as simple as going to some bank or whatnot and make a statement there, or shutting down an entire power grid. But they also do this in making statements for their hatred of the current rule of enforcement, which stands eerily close to the era that we're currently living in. Now, sometime during the ongoing conflict, Pat's love interest in Perfidia loses control of her mind after an affair with their common enemy and goes completely missing. Actually, strip gone. You can't find her levels of missing. Now, while fearing the worst possible scenario in case of, let's say, she gets arrested or she gets killed and whatnot, he decides to take it up upon himself to get him and his newborn out of the region to try and cleanse their identities as best as they can. But he may have actually done way too good of a job, as not only has he lost part of his calling card, but he also suffers from immense drug addiction. And many years down the line, the same threat that he faced long ago has come back to haunt him and his teenage daughter. So now he has to do all he can to protect himself and his only child from being held hostage by such an authoritative officer. Now, this may seem like a bit of a mouthful to some of you, but even so, I think the runtime probably justifies this a little bit. And I know that this is not the first time we've had a story of similar feeling to this. Some people nowadays have often compared our parts of our reality to that of George Orwell's Masterclass in 1984. And while I can't deny this truth myself, I don't think we're fully there yet. But the feeling is overwhelmingly strong nevertheless. One Battle After Another is also based on a book, Vineland by Thomas Pynchon, which the movie uses as influence for its story. And I gotta admit, this was the perfect time to release such a theatrical feat. Especially in the time we're living right now, where everyone is divided over the dumbest things possible. So for that, I commend the entire filmmaking crew here for making such a down-to-earth movie here in this day and age. I love the very dark tone in the story, especially when it's used to present the authoritative figures on screen. It really echoes the struggles people have in this day and age around law enforcement and its heavy abuse. Even with the French 75 committing semi-violent acts to prove their point. But that's not to say I endorse violence of any kind. This year has more or less become a hellscape for the safety of immigrants, since various countries are cracking down on people seeking asylum, and even long-term registered citizens are being deported. But it's really refreshing to see a film like this condemn the actions of such an authoritative power, and find the ways to bring the right message along the way. All under the guise of an awesome action thriller. Viva la revolution! By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far and want to see more stuff from me, click that like button and subscribe down below. I love to see new faces pop in, because that gets to mean I share more of the things that I love. But if you have any thoughts on a film or topic like this, feel free to reply down in the comments below. YouTube's changed so much over the years, and it heavily favors engagement, so I really appreciate it if you do at least 2 of these things. Now, it's no surprise when I say from a performance perspective, the cast did their parts very well. Leonardo DiCaprio as a stoned caretaker in Bob was something I did not expect to be enthralled by. More often than not, whenever I see his face, it's usually in an older movie like Titanic or Catch Me If You Can, when he was much younger. But here, he gives such an emotionally devastating and straightforward performance that his character is much more believable. Bob exposed himself to drugs and it nearly broke him, but he still has the guts to do what it takes to save his own daughter. And that is something I can absolutely commend very well on his character. I absolutely adore him. I should also mention the film is pretty hilarious at times, despite the obviously dark subject matter. For the moments when Bob is trying to contact his friends through the 75 and failing to remember his password made me and others in the theater giggle inside.
What's up? What's up, homie? It's me again, Bob Ferguson. I was trying to get the rendezvous point for my daughter,
right.
Willa.
If you can't answer what time is it, I cannot give you the rendezvous point. In fact, I'm surprised you can't name it. I don't know.
And the different scenes involving the film's main villain, Stephen Lockjaw, were amusing to say the least. Like, we know we're supposed to hate the guy, especially for what he tries to get into, but it's great to see him stumble. Sean Penn really played his part well in that. Not bad, Mr. Spicoli.
I really like that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave your words on this board for all my classes to enjoy.
All right.
Much of the film is beautifully shot, and as I've mentioned, it was done on the forefather to IMAX, that being VistaVision. Now, this was the same format that shot the majority of The Brutalists, which I reviewed for my Oscars video early this year, and that actually took home a well-deserved cinematography win. But I should also note that this is the first in a long time to be shown in its intended format. But as far as I'm aware, only 4 theaters in the world are showing the film in VistaVision, and based on the news that came out during one of those screenings, it's really hard not to see why. But going back to the film, it is very gorgeous. The slight haze during the desert scenes add a bit more detail to the characters. It feels as if a bit more danger has entered the fray than what is currently displayed on the screen. What helps to tie this monstrous masterpiece is no doubt the music. Johnny Greenwood's score is dark and hopeful at the same time, and it really plays well into the events of the film. There were times when the film became tense that, in tandem with the score, left me feeling a huge sense of dread. I have no doubt that should this score receive nominations, that it would take home the win any day of the week. It's that effective at helping to create the atmosphere of the story. And that's about everything I have to say on one battle after another. Would I say it's worth your time and maybe a few discussions about it? I'd say so. But that may depend on your experience seeing the film for yourself. It's a long watch at almost 3 hours, but for the entire duration, I was not bored even once. And I feel that's something that needs to be brought up more, even outside of movies. When you go to a movie theater, act like a good person and be respectful to others watching the same movie. Like many of you lately, I've had the displeasure of noticing people wasting their energy doing things or being gross while in the theater. I know there was some report a couple weeks ago that there was some guy that was straight up pissing in the theater, which why the hell, dude? That's actually gross. But thankfully I didn't have any sort of thing like that. But the only thing that was just remotely stupid was that there was a guy next to me while I was watching this movie that was just basically sitting on their phone for half of the runtime. Not necessarily on there for the beginning of the movie up to a certain point, but just in part just constantly looking at his phone. And it's dude, don't watch the movie. But I feel that this topic is worthwhile for another video in the future, so I'm going to keep this part short for the time being, and we'll eventually get to it when we get to it. But the point I'm trying to make here is that it is absolutely worth your time going to see it. If there's anything right now that can help us escape from our current reality but still keep us in check somehow, it's a movie like this. And I encourage you to go see it in the theater near you. Word of mouth on rare moments like this is what gets people like you and me to find out more about the movies that we missed watching. But thank you so much for tuning in to the end of the video. I'm planning to make more of them this fall, but I don't have a set time and schedule yet to upload them. I know with the next edition of my local film festival, it may be a little bit difficult in trying to get them out. So I really appreciate your patience in this time of year. Also, if you want to stay up to date with progress on my videos and or want to tune into my live streams, please check out my socials linked below. It's where you'll find access to my Discord, where I'm doing spooky movie nights starting this Friday and every week until Halloween. It's also where I post stream schedules, live notifications, and daily questions to the main channel, like, what movie, picture, or video always makes you laugh no matter how often you watch it? I do live streams here as well as on my Twitch simultaneously, because I believe you deserve the choice to where you want to see me live. If you feel like you want to watch me here, that's totally fine. If you want to go see me on my Twitch, that's perfectly okay too. If you want to see me on both platforms and engage with each chat, that's even better. I want my community to be joined together no matter the platform, as long as we also have Discord. Now, I'm technically a Twitch affiliate right now, and I have subscriptions over there on my Twitch. But if we actually make it to 5,000 subscribers and we meet the watch time requirements by the end of 2026, we may actually get members-only features, and I might actually do members-only streams over here. So yeah, please feel free to share videos like this and subscribe down below. I hope you all enjoyed your coffee or drink of choosing here, and I can't wait to see what comes next. Hopefully I still have a platform to call home, but anyways, bye!